everyone. Welcome to my Thursday Facebook Live. I have to excuse my frog in my throat. I came back from Houston with with a slight cold, which always goes to my throat. So I'm getting better. I'm 100% or maybe 95% better than I was. So I just may have to stop throughout the session and just clear my throat. So excuse me on that. But to introduce myself, I'm Nancy Smith, certifying elite director with Donna Dewberry. And as I said, I'm back from Houston. I went to my granddaughter's high school graduation. Very nice. Um, a typical Houston graduation outside in the studio, in the stadium, football stadium. I graduated from a school in Houston maybe 52 years ago now. Um, it was almost the same stadium, just same format. So just let me turn on the comments now. And I also must have, no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say I hit my glasses, but we don't need to know that. Hi, everybody. Thank you. So there's a lot of people joining, and I'm just going to try to squeeze my eyes a little bit and see if I can do this better there for comments. Perfect. I see you all. Just have to get adjusted here. So, okay. Again, thank you. Did everyone see Amanda's post today? It came out this morning, all of our projects that we're going to paint at convention. They all look great, don't they? The theme is Christmas in July, and I loved them all, as well as everyone that made comments. And so I'm looking forward to it, and I love seeing everybody. And apparently we're able to get more people than we did the last 2 years. So maybe the COVID restrictions are getting a little more lenient, which will be great. We can get back to normal and having a full crowd. So again, thank you, everybody. I'm so sorry. I can see the posts. I can see the comments, sort of, if I squint my eyes. The names are a little small, and I apologize. But I'll identify everybody at the end of the session. So today, I changed plans. When I left to go to Houston, all my flowers, not all, just the peonies and the clematis, they had buds. And I was just hoping and hoping that they would not pop out while I was gone. Well, they did. And so when I got back, not only had the flowers all bloomed, but apparently it didn't rain too much here. So everything was pretty dry. So I thought I better not wait on the clematis class because I had very few that looked decent. And I'll show you when I turn my camera. Because not only were they sort of dry, but I think some fungus or bug got on them. So I found two that are really in good shape. I painted the one yesterday to make our design, and then I found another good one this morning to show everybody. So that's what we're going to do today for the project. The peonies are out. I'm not sure how good they'll be in 2 weeks because, not to jump ahead, but I will. I will be Educator of the Week starting tomorrow. And so the week goes from Friday to Thursday. So the last event of my week will be my next Facebook page. So I won't be able to paint, something that's on our list. And so we'll see if the peonies last for that long, but I'm really not going to hold my breath on that. I'll give you more information about Educator of the Week after our demo today. So, oh, hi, Lori. I'm glad you found me. And everybody, yes, I'm on the Painted Vine Facebook page, and then um, after it does its processing, then I send it over to One Stroke Facebook page for Amanda to then post. So I appreciate everybody joining, and we'll get started. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Yeah, I'll give more details after class, but tomorrow, I'll just tell you now, in case if you have to sign off early and you might miss it. My week starts tomorrow, so my first Facebook um, live is going to be tomorrow at 3:30. I decided I would stick with my third 3:30 time slot just to remove any confusion, or what time is it going to be. And so I just know for the rest of this week, 3:30, I'm going to do something on Facebook Live. And that's what, and then tomorrow's my kickoff. So just to give you a heads up on that. And I'll have another posting for tomorrow. I've already sent it to Amanda, and so she'll be the one to post it for everybody. Okay, I think that's it for this. I really don't have too many notes. It just time goes fast, doesn't it? I just go, whoa. Okay, let me turn my camera around and we'll get started. Oh, and oh my gosh, I moved my picture. This is the picture of the demo that I'm going to be doing today. And I made this dark purple because that's the color that's in my yard. And I'll pull that out right now, right here. I'll turn on some lights to see if that helps a little bit. Once again, it's all dark right in my house. It's like we're getting ready for another little storm. But so this was the flower. Maybe if I turn it this way, you can see it better. So it's a dark purple. What I thought I would do too, because also on my list of what y'all would like me to demonstrate is how do I pick colors? And I won't just limit it to this class, but I thought let's start with this class. I'll always now share how do I put things together if I'm not following, an already pre-designed packet or a pattern. So this was the flower. It's very dark purple. And oh, Lori, yes. I didn't know they came in any other colors until I went on Google Images to look for some pictures. So I hope y'all can see. I'm not able to. There we go. There. I think you can see now and in focus. It's a pretty purple, and then has like this reddish color on the inside there. There it goes out of focus. So what I do is I go to my supply. Now, I don't have all the colors. I have a lot of multi-surface paint colors, but I don't have all of them. And so what I have to do when I pick out a color to paint, I just use the colors that I have. Let me move that out. So what I did is I pulled out my darker purples, and I'm afraid these look blue on the camera. So I'll turn them this way so you can see. These are the colors that I started out with. Dioxide purple. I pulled out Juneberry as well as berry wine for the center here. Eggplant, perfect purple, and violet pansies. Those were the purples I had in my supply. Now, because when I looked at this flower, I saw red violet. I wonder if I turn the light here, you might see it better. Maybe not. I am so sorry. Let me try one other thing. I'm going to get off comments for a second so I just can see what kind of view you all have. Hmm. I don't see that. So, okay, well, I'm just hoping then you'll be able to. Um, so I know we have a color red violet. I just didn't have it. And then I also didn't remember if it was a multi-surface or just acrylic. So anyway, that's why I pulled out the June berry and the berry wine. Initially, I pulled out red, but it was way too red. Um, oh, good. Thank you, Belva. So I'm glad y'all can see this good. Uh, so that's how I started. I pulled out these colors and I kept this flower handy by me. Okay, I'm going to move that out. Then what I did was I put, and I won't do this part on the palette, but what I did was I squirted a little bit of all those colors and then kept track of which color it was. Then I took my flower and held it next to the paint actually. Well, let me do one. Let me do dioxide purple because I will be using that color. And I held it up there and I thought, whoa, this is dark purple, but that's more dark than what I really want. So then I thought, what other color could I mix with it? And I just happen to know, and I'll go through the examples with you, that I did eggplant. It was eggplant. So when I mixed these two colors together, it came out perfect for this leaf color. Then for the middle, I did some experiments and it ended up to be Juneberry. Let me find Juneberry there. Okay. So what this means is I'm going to double load one side with these two colors, dioxide purple and eggplant, and then the other side of the brush will be Juneberry. But this is how I came up with those colors. After pulling out these guys, I double load eggplant and Juneberry. And I did that because, like I said, dioxide purple seems so dark. But if you can tell on this paper here, it wasn't really dark enough. I hold my flower there. It's dark, but not quite dark like this flower was. So then I thought, okay, what can I do? I did eggplant and I did a touch of dioxide purple, but still kept pure Juneberry. Made a stroke here, and it turned out like that. And it's like, okay, it's getting a little better. Still not quite what I want. So then I did dioxide purple and Juneberry. These are all double loaded. And it just didn't look right. It was like a little more too blue than what this flower was of this purple. So then I tried dioxide purple with a touch of eggplant. Now back here, remember I did eggplant with a touch of dioxide purple. What didn't work. So this time I did the purple with a touch of eggplant with Juneberry, and some of that purple went into the Juneberry, so it was like perfect. And so that's what I got right there. And so that's how I came up with the color of my plant. I think I did some other ones right here. This was violet pansy. Oh yeah, because I pulled out violet pansy because for me anyway, when something's purple, I immediately go to violet pansy. That's my go-to color. I love it. So I thought, well, I better try it before I just stick with the dioxide color. And so I did violet pansy and Juneberry. Wasn't quite right. Violet pansy with a touch of dioxide purple and Juneberry. Really wasn't right. So out of all of these samples, this is the one I kept for the flower. It may seem a little excessive, what I did, and chances are when you're painting something like on glass or a big container, you may not need to be so specific, and you can just pick out, some of our colors that we have, because we have so many pretty ones. But if you're doing like a custom design, and you know that your customer is going to want you to be exact, or you're painting something that like came from your yard, so you want it to be realistic. So when you look at that, you can say, yes, that's the flowers from my yard. This is the process that I go through. Um, Now I keep these pages because I'm not going to remember. I may say, oh yeah, I'm going to remember that, no problem. But I guarantee a week from now, maybe even tomorrow, um, I may not remember what color combination I used. And so I have a little folder that I keep all of these, and I sort of call them my recipe cards. Um, and I have a bunch. Um, I don't have them out right now to show you, but I have them for like blues and greens and grays and all different colors. So I definitely will keep this one so I'll know in the future. Not necessarily for when I paint this flower again, but if there's something that I want, it could be, I don't know, a window frame, and I want to color something like this. I have the recipe then, and it's all ready for me. Um, and I mentioned, I said, I may not remember a month from now or a week from now. I didn't even remember from yesterday. Fortunately, I had the foresight to put a star, which one I used. So at least I was using my head yesterday. So that's the color I used here. Excuse me. And I'll go over the green. Well, I'll do the green now. Just get that over. Okay, green. Here's the leaf for the plant, and you could see. So I pulled out some greens, and I definitely knew I didn't need citrus green or happy green, lime green, those kind of things. I knew they would be too vibrant. So here was classic green, though. I pulled that out, and then as I held it up here, it's like, no, that's way too like Christmas green. That wouldn't work. So then sap green was next, and it was a little dark, but it was doable if I knew it was doable if I mixed it with something. And I know I tried thicket as well, and it just didn't quite work. So my next thought after I did this, I in my head I'm going, okay, I'm going to go with sap green. Now I need a yellow. So I pulled out like daffodil yellow, and then I pulled out a lighter yellow, like lemon custard or light yellow. They just did not work at all. And so then I went to moon yellow, which is, really pretty yellow. And so I knew this was too dark. So I thought, what if I did sap green with a touch of moon yellow, and then moon yellow on the other side? So I added these on one side of my brush, and then moon yellow on the other side. And so that's what this color combination looks like. Well, I knew I didn't want the light color in the middle there, because when I look at this leaf, it's all one color. It's not like our typical flower leaves that we paint, where we have the darker green on the outside and the yellow or citrus green in the middle. So I knew I didn't want that. So this is what I came up with, and it turned out perfect. I, on one side of my brush, did half and half of sap green and moon yellow. So now you can mix, like with your palette knife. I didn't. I just dipped into sap, dipped into moon yellow on one side of my brush. And then on the other side of my brush, I did moon yellow and touched. Okay, I said dip. I touched. It was sap with a touch of moon yellow. And then on the other side, it was moon yellow with a touch of sap. And it came out perfect. So that's how I painted the foliage for our plant. So that's that. So let me move that to a side. And this is our flower. I'll put it in the vase just in case. I'm going to pull my camera up a little bit maybe as I paint, and I'll just try to keep that in view. Okay, now I have to say I went ahead and that's not going to work. I'll just move it off to the side. I went ahead and traced my flower to start just so I would make sure I had the right size petals. But this is what I wanted to tell you. This was the flower I painted yesterday. And I painted it like it came out of my garden. These were 6 distinct petals. They attached right here in the center. They had that little stem come out, or the little part of the petal come out, and then they made the leaf, or the petal. And so that's how I painted that. Now the picture I got off of Google was this flower, the same purple color. But if you notice, the petals are overlapping a little bit. And I didn't think too much of it. I thought, that's fine because they're all flowers. They're all going to be a little different. And I liked the center better on this one because it shows up. The center in my flower is pretty non-distinct. It's like purple, little purple hairs coming out. And so I thought, for us today, we should paint something that we can see a little better. So that was the photo. But then when I pull out this flower right now, right before class, they're like the picture. The petals are overlapping each other. So that's great. If you're doing a canvas and you're going to paint like 5 or 6 of these, you got variety going for you. It's okay. But that's why it looks like this yesterday for my sample for you, because it definitely did have the distinctions of the petals there. Okay, so let me go back. So we know, and I did add a little floating medium. So here I got my colors: dioxide purple, eggplant, and Juneberry. And I'm going to add a little bit of floating medium there. Oh, if you notice, not only on mine, it's a little harder to see, but there's 3 little lines, and you can see them better on this one. There's these 3 lines. So I'm going to paint those as well on these petals. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double load dioxide purple and Juneberry. Go back and forth here. I'm using a number 16 flat. Then I'm going to double, get it fully loaded there. Now, on the dioxide purple side, I want to touch into eggplant. So I'm just going to touch into there and then come back on my runway right here. Okay. Now, those 3 lines, what I did was, because for me, Juneberry seems sometimes a little transparent color, and I didn't want these lines to look like I painted them on top of the petal. So what I did on the very corner of my brush of the dark purple side, the dioxide purple side, I came here on the chisel edge, just using the corner of my brush, and very lightly made these 3 lines, just like that. I can maybe come down now for you there. Zoom a little closer there. So it's going to be a little harder for me to keep in camera, so I'll try to keep watching this spot right here. Okay, so I put, using that corner of my brush, those 3 lines. Okay, so let me go back and get some more paint. And now I'll go ahead and make a point, but I'll go ahead and overlap with our flower that we have today. You know, I might as well paint what we're working with. Yeah, you can't see it. So dioxide purple is going to be on the top color. I'm going to start on the on the chisel right there on that petal, and I'm going to oh, another thing I want to say too, these flowers are somewhat smooth. Now the real one has like a little, just a little ruffle, not really, so it's a real smooth type flower. but you can see some little movement in it. So when I do this, I'm on my chisel edge, and I'm only going to paint half of a petal. I'm going to lay my brush down, and I'm going to slide up along those lines that I had made, and I'm going to make can you see that? Just a very little movement in my brush. I need floating medium. Let me restroke that. And I'm just going to do a little bit of movement there in my brush. Okay. Now for me, I just went ahead and turned my paper around and painted the second half of the petal. And I already got paint on my paper. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so here I come here, and then I'm laying my brush down, just doing a couple little wiggles, and then I'm coming up onto my chisel edge to make that point. And I didn't quite go all the way, so let me turn my brush this way and just fill in that a little bit better there. Okay, but, oh, and then with that dioxide purple side, I'm just going to clean up the mess inside, going over those same little lines. But they're not going to be that dark. So if you can see now, here, can you see how I got the purple? I got that like violet red in there, and then I got those 3 little lines. So that's what we're looking for right now. Okay, so I'm going to just come over and do the next one. I'm always coming back and getting more paint. I'll come up a little higher now. And maybe you can see my palette. I need to come closer. Okay. So on the corner of my brush, I'll make those 3 little lines. And even this, I have to come back and get more paint. Now, could you do this with a script liner if you wanted? Yes. You could do that with another brush. I just didn't want a dirty different one. So I'm double loading dioxide purple, eggplant on one side, and then Juneberry on the other, and painting the exact same way. Brush, I'm laying it down, swinging it up, and then doing a couple wiggles, and then come to a point. Now I'll do the other side. Laying it down, just gently letting it wiggle, and then come up on the chisel edge to a point. Then I'm cleaning up that center. I am dipping my brush into dioxide purple, the corner, and I'm just cleaning up that center using that dark purple, and it will show through once it dries. Could do this one. um, the two colors, and then Juneberry. But you know what, too, when I was looking at this flower, um, doesn't it look like a poinsettia? So we can use the same technique um, for our poinsettia flowers. So there could even be more flowers out there that I'm not aware of that have the same format. I just got to come back and clean this up a little bit. I had a little bit too much. And then I'll clean up the inside here. Just making those little lines. Okay. Keep going around. I did take a lot of time, I guess, talking about color, but I hope that was helpful for you. You know, how you can decide with flowers, whether you have a real flower or you have a photograph. You know, because when I started doing that, like looking at the real colors, I was amazed because in our mind, we think different than what reality is. You know, like when people paint rivers and stuff, um, they might paint blue water, but if you really look at a river, that water is not blue. Um, it's more brown. And, you know, I do paint from photos that I've taken when I go on vacation and everything. And I came back and I wanted to paint this picture, Mississippi River picture. And I got out the blue and I was starting to paint. And then, excuse me, and I looked at the water and went, oh my gosh, that water was brown. Always the dioxide purples on the outside. We want to keep that like reddish color on the inside. And I'm using Juneberry for that. And you know, like I mentioned, for me, Juneberry is somewhat a transparent color. I don't know if that's happens with everybody, but that's why I can make these dioxidane purple lines, and it shows through. Because when Juneberry dries, you're going to see those bottom lines. And if you notice, I'm really not like all that careful for them because they're just going to show up as lines. Okay. And so this is the full flower here. I want some of this to dry just a little bit before we go into the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay my brush off to the side, and I'm going to get another 16 a 16 flat and paint some leaves for placement, because what I want to do is paint you know, a half one right here. Pull this up again. Get a full picture. There we go. So I have sap green and moon yellow. And again, the number 16 brush. So looking at my notes, yeah, I remember what I did. I did double load, sap green and moon yellow. So I took those two colors first. double loaded those. Then, then like my recipe says, it was sap green with a touch of yellow, and it was moon yellow with a touch of sap green. So what I did then on the green side, I just dipped the corner into the yellow, and on the yellow side, I just dipped corner into the green, came back to this runway, and went back and forth. So what that provided me was this side is darker because it was has more green. This side is lighter because it had more yellow. Okay, so what I did just for today, um, putting together a vine, on my chisel edge, leading with the light color, I just made like a little stem come up, and then I just came past it and came over a little bit like that. I was just making a couple little stems, as if this was coming off here. This is mostly just for us to have some greenery on our project for today. But I did want that half flower to come down here. So from here on my chisel, I'm on the chisel leading with the light color. I just brought it over. So I'll paint the half flower right there. And now the vines for this plant are very full. It's like there's a lot of vines. They're very thick. So what I did was I just added a couple, like another little vine coming out, and then from here, a couple stems. Now I do stems first, get a base of what I want to do, just like that. That's how I initially start planning. Then, then I add some of my leaves. Oh, and I'll show you how I painted these leaves. Let me pull one out, because don't these look like our fruit leaves? They're long and slender, not really no ruffle on the edge, equal size, and it just comes. And they're not a one-stroke leaf. You know, they're like our fruit leaf, where we paint half one side and half the other side. So that's how I painted this. I'll put it right here. Got a little yellow on this. Let me get some more green on my brush here. So what I did was very similar to this petal, on an angle. So here's my vine. I hold my finger out so my leaf can go this way or this way. So I want to go this way. I start at an angle like I do an angled one-stroke leaf, and I laid it down, and I just laid it down, and I just stroked up, turned it to a point, and came right back up. Now what I did was, I didn't do like I did on the flower petal, turn it over and paint the exact same size, same color. I didn't do that. What I did was, I didn't move my brush. The lighter green is on this side, so the lighter green's on this side. So all I did was take my brush, and now this one I started here, this one I'm starting more straight here in the middle, and I just laid my brush down and swooped up like that. And then I pulled in my stem. So that's how I painted this leaf. I'm going to get some more paint here. I'll do that again. I'll do one up here. So it's going this way, so I'm going to paint this flat leaf right here. I start off a little bit from the stem because I do want to make a leaf stem, so I'm not touching this vine or this stem right here. So I'm laying it down, sliding to a point, then not turning my brush. I just came back, overlapped down here a little bit, pushed and turned and came up. And now I'm pulling in my stem. And I did that because these are like little fuller, almost like, to me, just like our fruit leaves. You know, they're nice and smooth, and they're full. So I came up like that. Now, when you're at the end of the vine, you could make smaller leaves. We could do an angled one stroke leaf when we get to because it's very similar. You could tell, you could definitely tell this is two sides, but they're close enough to be on the same vine. So anyway, I'll just make a couple more of those. I just come up, slide to a point, getting more paint. I'm overlapping a little bit and then just sliding up to a point. I do want to say this isn't how I make the fruit leaf. I don't want you to go look at the manual and go, "Ooh, I don't think that's how we do it." No, this isn't how we paint it. I'm just doing it. I just said they look like it because they're nice, smooth, and they're slender and long, like what we have for those kind of flower. I'm sorry, for what we have for those kind of leaves. Okay, I'll just add a couple down here. That's just a one stroke leaf. I'll do one of those leaves that I was showing you here, though. Pull it in, and I'll do one up here. Okay, now I'll come back and do the half flower. I'm still letting that dry a touch. Okay, here's where we're going to do our half flower. I'll get some chalk. So in my design, I had it fall down this way. So I would have it like this, and it's going to come down here. Going to turn it so I can paint it at a good direction for me. I'm using my same colors. The dioxide purple and ginberry. I wipe my brush off. That's why I'm starting fresh and then into eggplant. So what I'm going to do right here is do one of these petals, but smaller. Whoops, I had it on the wrong side. You want the purple on the outside. Okay. Turn it around. And then come back up. I'm not going to see my lines very well because I painted it wrong. But at the same time, I'm really not going to be concerned because they're going to be covered anyway. It's not like these where you see the whole petal. So I'll come and, oh, I did it again. Oh my gosh. Okay, there. And I'll paint the other side. And I'll paint this one. Okay, I was going to show you, like you're seeing me turn it, only because it's easier for me, but it's a good practice to get in where you can go up and down. So let me paint this one like that for you, because it is a quicker way. When I'm demonstrating like in person or something, I might do it like this, where I come up to, I'm now at the chisel point, I slide down, but I'm letting my brush lean to the outside, and then I just slide it back down. So it works. You can do it like that too. I just restroke those to be the purple on the outside. See how much faster it was, and you're not having to turn your paper. I just typically go slow, turn my paper. Okay, what I'm going to do now, though, I am going to put the the ginberry on the outside edge, only because I want to be able to see them. Let me show you my sample. see how you can see these outside petals a little bit more? It's because I did the Juneberry on the outside. So I'll do that for this one. And here's the center of my flower right there. So I'm going to come out and do my Juneberry, and then I'll just slide on back. Okay, going to make another one. I'm going to put it over on this side this time. Slide up and then slide back. And then this one is going to go on the side, like right here. There you go. That one got a little bumpy, so let me fix it. Okay, so let's let that dry. I'm going into my green though, because I want to put the connector on there. So how I do that, with my dark green side, I'm going to do those little touch and pull strokes. Let me get more paint. I'm touching and pulling, touching and pulling. I do about 4 or 5. And I slowly am pulling into the stem. And then when I do my last one, that's when I clean it all up and come on down into the stem. And I'm going to do one more leaf right here, smaller. There. Okay. I haven't forgotten our center, but this is where I'll just come and look around and see if I want another leaf someplace. I just filling in the gaps. Okay. So the center. This is, I went ahead and, like I said, I didn't use my plant because it was, to me, it would be too hard to paint. It was a lot of the dark purple, where this flower has this, to me, this looked like citrus green and then some white stamens. So to paint this center here, I did go into my citrus green multi-surface. And then I got my little mini scruffy, the 1/4 inch, pounced into the paint. And then I just pounced a little ball right there. And see how you sort of need to wait for it to dry. See, it wasn't quite dry, so I got a little purple, but it's okay. I'll just repounce lightly over that. And so then let's let that dry a minute. And as that's drying, we'll go ahead and get some white. Oh, hi, Mary. Yes. I'm looking forward to August also. Mary and her friend, I think it was her name Gloria. They're actually coming to the house and doing level 1 cert. And I'm really excited about that. As much as I love Zoom, I think it's going to be fun having a class again in person. So that will be a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do is I got my script liner and I'm into white. And it's full white. I haven't thinned it out. Now I did dampen my brush. And I'm sorry, I should have said that I was talking. I dampened my brush, but this time, instead of just doing around the silver and the bristles like I do so I don't have water come out, I actually did my whole brush because I just wanted my brush damp. I didn't want it to be with water where I was going to thin out my paint. I wanted full paint. And what I'm going to do is those stamens, and what you do, you just touch and pull, and you always pull in a little curve. So our project's facing up, so I'm going to curve this way and then curve this way to the left, to the right. And then at the bottom, I'm just going to come like straight down. I'm following this picture exactly. These had little curves off to the side, but then down here, these were more straight because we're looking straight into it. So I'm coming here and I'm going to touch pull. Because it's dry, it's showing up pretty good, but I'm always coming back and getting more paint. Touch, pull, and I'm always ending on that little green ball that we scruffy just now. And now I'm getting close. I'm like halfway down. So now for the bottom half, I'm going to go more straight. I might, just because I like to do curves, curve it a little bit, but it's not so much as what I had at the top. It's just a very little touch. Okay, then along those edges, what we're going to do is we're going to tap little dots. Just tap, tap, tap. I'm using the tip of my script liner. Tap, tap. Now, here again, I'm following this. We made the lines. Then see how close these little lines are? I think those were the lines that are just starting to pop out from the center. That's why they look like they're so close. And that's what those are. That's representing those little lines. Then I'm just going to do a couple dots in the middle, as they're still in a tight little ball. So they haven't popped out yet. So that's how I was looking at that. So that's my center. Now, when I painted the half one, I didn't have the center in mind at all, because here's the middle of my flower, and these are the back petals, and then these are the front petals. So we're not going to see a lot of the center, but I thought to make interest, because this is the petal here and here's the petal here, I could do a couple little stamen lines right here. I would not put any on this side because, see, I don't want to do it in white, but this is the edge of the petal, and the center is way down here, so we're not going to see stamens right there, but we potentially could see a couple right there. So I was just going to, right here, just do a couple. Whoops, that's even too thick. I just wanted a couple little stamens right there, very small, just like they're popping out at that side. So that's all I did on that. Okay. So that's those. Now there's one other thing I wanted to do. When I was looking at this flower, you know, this side is all purple and we have those three little lines that's showing up, I think, really well right here. But look at on the back of the flower. It's like, oh my. This is like a white stripe. Okay, these are very light purple. But here's this white, like a white stripe, and it has, like, to me, citrus green little lines in there. It's probably the green from the stem. Now, actually, I didn't worry about this lighter purple side as I painted, but I did want to add this little line right here on my flower. And so, let me see if I see it here. Oh, yeah, you know what though? I was playing around this morning, and this was the white with the green lines, and I'll paint one just so we could see. We can experiment how I did this. But on my project, I actually just made the lines with a very light purple and white, to show the petals. But you know, we're supposed to be following this flower correctly. So let's do this like I was just playing around with. So what I did was I did have to get a smaller brush. This is a number 8, number 6. Um, so I have floating medium and I have white. I wanted a very light wash. Um, I didn't want this because I'm keeping the darker purple. I didn't want it to look like, like a skunk mark. So I wanted a very light wash. To do that, I, oops, let me get, I fully loaded my brush with floating medium and just did a touch of white, just a touch. And then I mixed it up over here on my palette. I'm just trying to make it very, very, like a very light wash or a glaze. Now here, I'll do this one first. So I'm on the chisel edge to start, very light touch. I'm pulling my brush, laying it down, and then coming up to the point, similar to when I painted the petal. Then I'm going to do the other side, laying it down, pulling it up to a point. See, I just personally, I just don't, even though we want to be realistic, sometimes maybe realistic isn't all that hot. Isn't all that, what is it? What's that expression? It's not cracked up to be. So let me just do this. And those lines came all the way to the point. See how they came all the way to the tip. So I need to come up a little higher on that. And then on this side too. These are our 3 outside. And I'm doing this because we're seeing the bottom of these petals. That's why I'm doing this. Okay. Then let's go into our script liner. Again, I'm dipping it into water. I don't really want it thin. I just want my brush to be damp. But I could go into floating medium as well. Let me do that as also. And let's see how that goes. And now we want to paint 2 stripes. And I'm on my point, but I'm laying it down because it's nice and thin and it's nice and light. It's not dark citrus green. So I can use full pressure as I bring that up like that. Okay, I'll do the next one. Same thing, floating medium, load my brush up, not to where it's dark. I just wanted to touch. And I'm pushing down, and so it's somewhat of a thick line. Okay. Do this final one. There. And you know what I think I want to do? Ginberry was so transparent. I'm just going to take my brush and just darken up that edge a little bit so it stands out more. And you could do this with a flat brush. In fact, that might be better. I just had this in my hand and I thought, I want to be able to see these petals better. So I was just adding some separation right here with those. Okay. So I don't know. We can decide if we like that or not. Sometimes, like I said, maybe you don't have you use your art what is that, artistic license, and don't worry about what the back looks like because the front is so gorgeous. But if we're following the flower, that's what it looks like in the back. So okay, so we got the centers and the leaves and everything. So so that's it. So I know it was, I'm getting suggestions from folks, and it was Diane who said she wanted us to paint this flower. So Diane, I'll check later see if you're online and see if this is what you were thinking of when you suggested that flower. So okay, let me turn my camera around. Okay, well, I hope that was good for everyone, that you enjoyed that flower. Let me go back. I was really pleased that at least I found one today to show you from the garden. And I didn't show you this, but this is what my peony looks like right now. Um, you can't really see how the pretty pink it is. There, maybe on this side you can. So unfortunately, these only last like a week, so we'll see if they'll still be good when it's time to paint. So, okay, well, thank you, everybody. I'll check all the comments um, as soon as it processes, and I really thank you for all watching. All right, goodbye, everybody.